I've made a bunch of progress on the starter. I think I'm ready to start reassembling it. I've made some observations and I've had some setbacks. So the setbacks. I can't find any videos about this particular starter being disassembled, cleaned up, and reassembled. I did find videos on generic starters being taken apart, cleaned up, put back together, but none of them were like this. They all had permanent magnets instead of stator coils. So this is the solenoid and the big contactor, the starter relay, you know, the one that actually sends power to from the battery directly to the starter. So this works. This is fine. This tab was terribly rusted, so I cleaned it up. Put 12 volts on it. I'll put my finger on it so it doesn't shoot out, but it was working a lot better yesterday. There we go. Well, my bench supply is kind of weak. There we go. Perfect. I cleaned up the top bits of the brushes. They were a little bit worn from contact with the springs. I don't know, these springs seem like they're still good. So I'm going to go ahead and put them back. I might be able to find some at the local hardware store. First, let's put this back together and see if it actually works. Let's see, I got the rotor all cleaned up. I cleaned up the commutator here. So here's the bolts that hold that together. Here's the screws that hold the retaining brackets in. Here's the metal case. Here's the top piece, back cover, the retaining brackets, and the actuator arm. Oops. And I think this is called an actuating arm, but I don't know. You can call it whatever you want. As long as it works, I don't care. Going ahead and putting the... Oh, incidentally, these still may look terrible, but I did clean them up as best I could with isopropyl alcohol. The wire comes out that end. Gonna put the insulator on, and the wire goes in first. See if we can't figure out. There it is. It's kind of the wrong shape, the pick. Let's see, maybe if I start feeding more of this through, I can get that in there. Oh yeah, there it is. Better yet, how about some needle nose pliers? Come on. There we go. Oh, I got it. Haha, there we go. Okay. So now, get these back in there. Preferably without knocking the insulator loose. Okay, good so far. Alright, that's about where it needs to be. Now that it's all black, can't see nothing in there. Okay, let's see. There's the grommet. Okay, so that's in position. Alright, so that's kind of in place. That's in place. Alright. We're still kind of crowded down at the bottom there. I've got to get the brushes out of the way. There's one out of the way. I'm not seeing the other one. Where's the other one? That one's there. This one is there. Okay, there it is. Get that brush out of the way. There we go. There's the other brush. Whoop. Lost it. There. Okay. let's just set these up. Yeah, let's just set these up and out of the way for now. Okay. Yeah, that's positive and it's touching. Okay, that insulator I put in is in the wrong spot. I'm almost absolutely sure now. So here's what we're dealing with. This spot right here is touching the metal, and I'm thinking that maybe this guy is supposed to go on here somehow. Like maybe wrap around it. Like that. I really feel like there should be another one here. I'm going to put electrical tape here. I don't know, that may be a bad idea. If the electrical tape comes off, it'll gum up everything, but it just really bugs me that there's just no insulation here or here. Incidentally, here's my really great solution for painting these little screws. So the pencil gave me something to hold, allowed me to hold on to them, and also I was able to paint everything but the threads, because I didn't want to paint the threads. Another thing I did before I painted these, I cleaned them up. Whoops, let's put it in frame. I cleaned them up on the grinder wheel. I cleaned up the new flathead screwdriver slot that I made. So that, yeah, because I just used the Dremel to do it quick and dirty just to get them loose, but then once I had them loose, yeah, I cleaned them up and improved them a bit. So put one there, and then wrap one around this way. So thinking I will wrap the tape around like this, so that if it lets go, it will unfold up against the wall of the, you know, the wall of this guy. Hopefully this is a good idea. I really don't know. We'll find out. And you don't know until you try. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap some tape around that too. Shouldn't have any problems, but don't know. There's probably a better material to use for this, but I'm too ignorant for such things, so perhaps I will learn the hard way. Okay, and then that is the original piece, went in there. Even if that stuff lets loose, it should end up clamped up against the wall of the thing here. One nice thing is whatever the stuff is that they wrapped the coils in seems to be pretty robust stuff. This seems to be holding up just fine. So now what we can do is put these retainers back in. And they will hold the coils exactly where they're supposed to go. Okay. Now it's all painted black. It's a little harder to see everything, isn't it? Maybe I should have painted it green. Oh well. Okay, we'll just put it on loose for the time being, I think. So another one. Oop, another one of these. Go there. I'm trying to decide if I want to put Loctite on these threads or anti-seize. Or just leave them as they are. Isn't that nice? I don't know, can you even see? Well, it's working out pretty good, I think. Okay, one more retainer right here. Yeah, see, look at that. That's exactly where that other piece went, right in there. You know what? It doesn't need to stick. If I loosen that up, that'll just clamp it right in there. I loosen these two, then I can slide that right in. I don't have to worry about how to make it stick. There we go. Well, that solved that problem. So now we've got a little tiny grounding screw for this little wire here coming off of this coil. Hopefully the paint, one consideration when you paint a bunch of stuff is the paint going to end up insulating something that ought not to be insulated, like this little grounding screw here. So we shall find out. If we have to, we can scrape some paint off of some surfaces and put some antioxidant conductive grease. Let's go make sure that we have continuity here. I want continuity between this little bolt and something. Let's scratch away a little something. 0.5. Okay. Yeah, we got continuity there. So that coil is grounded. Yay. So these guys eventually need to go into this guy. Okay, let's just shove them out of the way for now. That guy goes on. Yeah, no matter which way this goes on, as long as it fits, it's in the proper orientation. So that's where these brushes come in. These are going to go down into the holes that aren't occupied with the other two. Anyway, so I think what we want to do is we want to get the wire down through there. Like so. And then those little tabs are going to go on these bolts that go through here. Hopefully the washer doesn't fall off. Let's see if we can It's a little lock washer. That's what it is. Okay. Uh-oh. It's trying to fall off. Ah, fell off. Put the washer back on. And then maybe tilt it so that the washer is less interested in falling out. There we go. Alright. Now the screw, or the bolt, the nut, goes on the other side and holds it all together. Yay! And then we just hold the nut in that little captured spot and give it a snug it down. So there it is. That's the first. I don't know if you can see that, but the top one there is secured. Yeah, so we just do the same thing for the other side. It would help if I knew what all these things were called, but I suck at terminology. Pretty sure we're going to want the other two brushes in place next, so I'm going to try and do that. Well, that wasn't so bad. Well, we'll put the other one in. There we go, I think. Yeah. Awesome. That one's in place. So before I put the springs and stuff on, I'm going to reinstall the rotor. Yeah, turns nice anyway. Yeah, so with the rotor installed, that'll keep the brushes in place, and then we'll put the springs in later. I forgot something already. You know what it was? This little spacer. The thick spacer went in the back, at least on mine. Okay, put that back in. Oh, you know what else I forgot? I was going to put some grease on that. Just a little. Just a little dab will do ya. Dapper Dan's. What was it? Hair grease? Can't remember. So give this a little grease. Okay, the two retainers are still on there. I'll put this guy, best I can figure, this way. And then go ahead and plug that in. Line that up. There we go. Get the rubber dust protector, I guess, in there. And that spacer is stuck inside here right now with grease. So it's not missing, it's right there. Okay, and then it looks like, yeah, this is keyed, kind of. There's a stamp and protrusion right there, and there's a little notch right there. So you'll be in the ballpark if you get that set up there like that. So now we've got that together. Okay, now we can put the long bolts in, and I want to put some anti-seize on there first. Okay, first we got to put the lid on. So before we can do that, we got to put the springs in. And here's another thing I'm a little concerned about is, are these springs going to, do they need to connect with ground? If so, I should probably scrape a little bit of paint off here so they can connect up with ground, huh? There, hopefully that'll do. Okay. Now we put the lid on. Okay. All right. I believe it is time to put this guy on. So this hooks into that, like so. Oh. There we go. And then okay, so the orientation of the thing is like that. The little relay pin is on the bottom, so it's going to go like that. Don't forget the spring. Good enough for that. Yeah, 8mm. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now the battery one goes on this closer post, and I need to flatten that out or it won't fit. There we go. So that goes on there with a lock washer and a nut. Okay, and with that, we're ready to test this sucker. Alright, so we got ground somewhere. Let's see. We can ground, let's say right here, hopefully. So this one we'll put on here, but nothing will happen. Nothing should happen until we hit that with a positive as well. So we'll need a jumper. Right, nothing's happening, so we need a jumper. Yeah, I think I need more than what the benchtop power supply can get me. So now we need a jumper, and we need to hold. I need to hold these steady, but all right. Let's see. Ah, ha, ha. The weather's okay-ish. Let's put this guy back on the Ural and let's see if we can get the Ural started now. Let's put the starter back on the bike, huh? Oh. I missed something, you guys. This cotter pin's supposed to go right there. Let's go find it. And while I'm at it, I forgot the lock washers on these two guys. I was going to put new ones on. So there's the hole. We need, where'd it go? There it is. So we need to put this on through there. That holds the actuator arm in place. Okay, now we can put this back together. Cotter pin. I don't know what this larger thing would be called, maybe a fulcrum. For the actuator lever. Okay, got it sorted. For some reason it wasn't lining up this way. I thought it wasn't lining up that way. I don't know what the deal was, but it's better now. Everything's still turning and all that. Okay, so let's get this guy on. Okay, so first we need shims, right? For some reason mine came with 3. Your results may vary. But yeah, we'll go ahead and put the shims on. Get this guy situated. The battery's off. Like literally, it's in the basement right now, so there it is. There's the starter started with a bolt started. Oh, I was gonna put, even though these threads look really good, I'm gonna put a little anti-seize on here so that they stay good. And that one goes in the bottom. Get it all lined up there. Excellent. And I'm going to pull this one out real quick. Do the same thing. Little anti-seize on the bolt there. So we'll keep those nice looking threads staying nice looking. If you can see, the bolt closest to the starter motor is the positive to the starter motor. The bolt furthest away, if you can see this one here, is the one where the battery terminal goes on, and also this white wire with the loop terminal. So those two go on. Like that. Okay. So then we grab a nut. Put that on there. Okay, tighten it down. Then the last connection, electrical connection, is this other little white wire. Where'd it go? And this has the spade connect. This goes under that spade connector on the bottom. This guy right here. And there's lots of rust. So I'm gonna put a bunch of antioxidant conductive grease into this thing. Try to really shove it in there. Put some on that little tab. I'm sure you can't see the tab. I can't even see the tab. But yeah, you put that spade connector on the spade tab, and that should be all the electrical connections done, except, you know, putting the battery back in the rig. You can't put this bolt in until the air filter's in, because this bolt also holds down the driver's side bracket on the air filter box. So, got to put the air filter in first. On the other side, we've got, right there is the other side of the whatever this is, air filter. So gotta get that on there. So this clip that holds this wire needs to also go on that screw thing, that stud. So you got your linkage bracket here, you got your air cleaner bracket, and then you've got this clip that's got to go on there. And that's all down there. And then I've already got a hose clamp, appropriate size for this side of the air cleaner. Oh, and this hose can go back on. Wow, that was hard. Okay. Alright. Hopefully that'll do. Alright, I got a jar of miscellaneous hose clamps. That one looks, ooh, well, that one looks about right. It just looks kind of weird, but let's try it. Okay, yeah, we'll just loosen that a little. That's not going anywhere. Okay, everything's hooked back up. Let's see if it'll fire up. Okay.